Hey, babe. Jamie, that's me here. Listen, I just came to run my mouth for a little piece, okay? Just a hot second. I know I've been over here in my Love Island world. I've been over here in a piece of my Real Housewives world, but I just wanted to tap into the chit chat world. How about that? You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if y'all saw that Tyra Banks is now suing Netflix. Let me pull up the shade room because I saw this on Twitter the other day. I was like, girl. You're doing what? You're about to sue Netflix for something that you participated in and likely about approved. I could have sworn people said she was like an executive producer of the documentary. So the people that's confused, y'all know they had America's Next Top Model documentary over there on Netflix. I think it was like earlier this year or something like that, maybe end of last year, earlier this year, one of the two, child. And it was a lot of controversy, a lot of conversations surrounding it, and the drama of it all when it came to the contestants of the show. Tyra Banks heavily participated in that. Okay, she was very active in that documentary. I could have sworn she was one of the producers, but let me see. Okay, while I got y'all over here, let me fact check that real quick. Okay, let me see. Okay, so I'm glad I checked. So they're saying that Tyra Banks did not produce the documentary Reality Check Inside America's Next Top Model. Instead of holding a producer or creative role, she participated strictly as an interview subject with editorial control. So wait a minute. You had editorial control of how you were going to be shown on the damn show, on the documentary, and then now here it is spinning the block and you suing their ass for defamation? If you had editorial control, then some part of me feels like you would have seen it. You would have watched it. I would love to know, and maybe she didn't, right? This is my assumption is that she would have watched it to see what is being said and likely told them don't put this in, but you can put that in, don't put this in, don't put that in. Unless her editorial control strictly focused on her and no other subjects. Maybe she only had control over how she was edited and the things that she said, keep that in, take that out, but not so much as how Nigel or other people may have spoken on her. But girl, I was like so surprised by this. Now it's going to be very interesting to see if she ends up winning this defamation lawsuit, okay? I want to get into the details as I said over here on the Shade Room, so let us do just that, where they're saying that according to the documents, Tyra filed the lawsuit on June 13th, claiming that her portrayal in the project was defamatory and edited to push a false narrative. I can't wait to find out what kind of editing control she had, because it only would make sense to me that she only had editing control over herself. And that's it. So now she's feeling away because they pushed a false narrative. But if that is other people's perspective of you, is that really pushing a false narrative? I mean, it could be if those people were lying, but if they had some of the documentation to back it up, I feel like, in my personal, Tyra, I feel like she was suing Netflix in an effort to likely get a damn settlement, to not take it to court. I feel like a lot of people do that. They sue you in an effort to likely get a settlement. Okay. Not to take it all the way to court, but hoping that you would be like, you know what, let's just settle with her. I don't even want to deal with another lawsuit. Let's just give her whatever she wants or give her a little piece of this and then be done. That's kind of what is given. And I'm not necessarily sure if that is the case, but you guys let me know if you feel like Tyra was defamed or if she was not. I can't wait to hear what a judge decides. But they're saying Tyra claims that the lengthy interview she gave for the documentary, only 16 minutes, were used. She says that the clips were stripped of context and or reassembled to support a false and defamatory narrative unrelated to what she actually expressed. Now, that's possible because, that is the risk that you take when you are a part of a production. They are going to edit things. I mean, we see that with a reality show itself, how they rearrange and reassemble clips. Because I even look at stuff and be like, wait a minute, I think this clip actually came before or after such and such. But you're not new to this, Tyra, right? You're not new to this, you're true to this. So I kind of feel like, and I don't know if any of the ladies have done it, but if you get to sue Netflix for quote unquote defamation, based on how things were edited, then I feel like some of the doggone models from the damn show could turn around and possibly sue your ass if they haven't already for how they were portrayed on the damn show and how that show affected their career after the fact. So this is just really crazy to me. All right. But okay, it is what it is. So they're saying the lawsuit states that Netflix series Reality Check Inside America's Next Top Model was sold to viewers as a documentary series. Netflix called it the definitive must-watch chronicles of America's Next Top Model. Right? Viewers of excuse me, viewers of a documentary do not expect manufactured drama or constructed narratives. They expect facts because they were promised a documentary that is exactly how viewers interacted with the Netflix series. Okay. I guess. Claims of false narratives, including Tyra's reaction to the cycle 2, Shandy Sullivan's alleged SA in the lawsuit. It claims that Tyra was unaware that Shandy classified what happened to her as SA. Also, the narrative that she did not visit Miss J. Alexander following his stroke also addressed. Girl, I can't wait to see how this one will play out. I can't wait to see. You can't claim to be a I know it all type of BIT and then now act like you weren't privy to certain stuff. I guess. Y'all leave y'all thoughts and comments down below. But Tyra Banks has decided that she finna sue Netflix because she didn't like the backlash that she received from the people. Okay. Um, I want to talk about Big Tigger and the situation he got going on with his wife slash mother of his child. But before we get into that, why did y'all put Chingy down to the shade room? Years ago, Chingy had allegations put on him of messing with a transgender woman. I think it was Sydney. Is it Sydney Star? I think it was Sydney that came out and had these allegations or whatever. And ever since then, the man's sexuality has been in question. He came down to the social media with a new look, and because he has, a smooth face and not a piece of a blemish, honey, 2 earrings and a little trimmed up goatee, the people and their narratives are getting to run and fly. And I'm like, Shade Room, y'all are so messy. Y'all know exactly why y'all had posted this. Okay? I ain't got nothing to say. I just want everybody to be happy in the skin that they in, honey, and whatever that looks like, then congratulations and kudos to you, okay? But y'all didn't have to put that man on that page for him to, the people tearing him up in the way that they are. Okay, talking about they knew it. Either way, let's move on. When I tell y'all Texas is not playing, Texas ain't playing. I didn't touch on the Carmelo Anthony situation aside from me talking about it over there on the Ooh Ladies First panel. We did touch on it. I feel like I was and still am processing the entire situation because as quick as, Austin Metcalf lost his life in that altercation between he and Carmelo, that was about as quick as that damn trial happened, all within a few days, including a damn Saturday. And it was just a lot going on. And I've never seen a person be sentenced the same day they were found guilty. Like, it was just a lie. It was a lie. And I was really shocked. It was like, 1 minute you shocked at, oh my God, oh, he was found guilty, even though I kind of did expect a guilty verdict. I'm not gonna lie. I just wasn't expecting it for murder. I figured it would be manslaughter. Because when I think of murder, I think of the intent. You're going there to actively kill somebody. You know what I'm saying? And then I don't think the defense put up a compelling argument, if an argument at all. I was not there, but some of the attorneys that I listened to that were covering the case, I don't recall them mentioning that, there was an explanation as to why Carmelo had that multi-tool knife, that pocket knife, the little multi-tool pocket knife that you have with the different little instruments on it or whatever. It wasn't explained as to why he may have had that on him that day. You know what I'm saying? If that's something he may bring regularly to the track meets or whatever, I don't know. But they didn't dive into that. But all in all, he was found guilty, and it was like, oh dang, he was found guilty. Then next thing you know, um, Oh, the sentencing. You know what I'm saying? First it was a murder, then it was adding manslaughter, and you wowed about that factor. Then it's like, oh, boom, he was found guilty. Oh, snap. Oh, boom, now we finna go into sentencing. Oh, whoop, it's 35 years. It's like, oh shit. It was just so much going on that it's just like, what is happening? Okay. It was like, whoa. It was a lot, you know. Very sad situation. I guarantee you he wishes he could have made a different decision on that day, despite the circumstances or whatever was happening. And it's just a touchy topic for a lot of people on all kind of sides, whether people on Carmelo's side, the other young man's side. It's just a lot going on, But either way, Carmelo ended up getting 35 years. He has filed for an appeal. So I think he's figuring that situation out. I don't know what the appeal is for. I don't know if it's like, let's appeal the overall trial, let's appeal the sentencing, the verdict. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly, but I do believe an appeal was filed, and I think he may be looking for some new attorneys. Not sure if his family got a new attorney. Of course, his family had been out there, expressing and talking about the situation of everything they experienced as far as being told not to talk to the media and certain things and stuff. So his family is now coming out, all right, and they are speaking out. Another thing that was interesting about that trial, not only the fact that they had to work on a Saturday, was how everything was so tight-lipped. And also the fact that when it came down to speaking on behalf of, I guess, Carmelo's character to see whether or not he should, how long he should be sentenced for, only his mother spoke. Like nobody else, like no teachers came to the front. I mean, the case is very interesting to where it was ran kind of odd, in my opinion, but I'm not in the legal field or an attorney to know. So you guys can leave your thoughts on that, to where I'm like, they might find a bit of discrepancy in an effort to have an appeal on this. I'm not sure, but it was interesting, and to see that his attorneys didn't really put up much of a fight. And I don't know. I think there's typically a hearing before they actually have the trial. And I remember when I watched the Edric Faust case of the man that was accused of murdering a law student 20 years ago, even though the DNA evidence did not line up to him, it lined up to a white male, but they arrested a black male for it. When I watched that trial, there was a trial hearing, I do believe, where the prosecutor wanted certain information to not be brought up in front of the jurors. And the judge granted the prosecutors whatever they wanted. Yep. So much so that the defense attorney ended up being held in contempt for some stuff. I think he was held in contempt for mentioning things in front of the jury or doing stuff like that repeatedly or something. But yeah, it was very weird. But all in all, mentioning that case, because when I think about Carmelo Anthony and the fact that I felt like to me, the attorneys didn't mention certain things that you probably would have wanted him to, or go as hard as you probably would have wanted them to. It could have been because they were restricted from saying certain things based on whatever pre-trial hearing they had, which I believe ended up being sealed. So I don't know. It's a lot going on over there. But Carmelo Anthony was given a 35-year sentence. Okay. So that caused public outrage. Now, the reason I said that Texas is not playing is because there's another couple that I talked about over a year ago. They had an episode. I cannot even remember. I think it was like on NBC or something. Or I think I saw it on Hulu though. Right. So maybe it wasn't NBC, maybe it was ABC, but I think I saw it on Hulu. And this couple here, LaShonda Moore and her husband DJ ASAP, they were running like these type of pyramid scheme, I guess, type of thing that they got involved in, something during the pandemic, and they would take people's money, but people weren't benefiting or gaining anything off of it. Okay, so they ended up getting in trouble, and now the judge ended up sent down in Texas, has sentenced both of them to 40 years each. I said, baby, Texas is not playing. 40 years. And if those people wanted to get their money back, they damn sure not getting it back now, because these people going to be locked up for 40 years. Now, I think 40 years is very extensive. I don't think they should have gotten 40 years. I completely understand they stole from folks. But if those people expect to get their money back, these folks need to be out. They need to be out working their ass off and working to pay these people back. Okay, garnish the wages accordingly. And it's sad because they also have children together. I do believe they may have about 2 or 3 children. I really think it's 3, but don't quote me. This is extremely, extremely sad, but let's get into it. They're saying a Texas couple has been sentenced to 40 years each in federal prison for running a pyramid scheme that defrauded more than 10,000 people out of over $30 million, okay, during COVID. Now, baby, that 30, y'all defrauded people about 30 million. Y'all ain't, y'all not gonna be able to pay that back. Be clear, but they are in federal. They might get out a little early. I remember when British Williams went to prison for something related to money and finessing or whatever, and everybody was like, well, she has to serve oh so much of her sentence. She has to serve oh so much of her sentence before she can get out, and this and that. And then I'm hearing people say she got to do the full thing. That lady didn't do none of that. She was supposed to be in there for 5 years. That lady probably did a year and got the hell out. So with this 40-year sentence, I don't know how much of their time, you know, I don't see them being in there the full 40. They might be able to get out, depending on what they do while they locked up on the inside. We shall see. But that's sad. Like, why would y'all want to play with people like that? Why would y'all want to play with people? And y'all know y'all black asses can't do nothing like that. You know you can't get away. Girl, only these corporations can pull stunts like this and scam us out our fucking money. If you ain't linked and tied into the government and you ain't no corporate, you can't pull no stunt like that. Okay. But then I remember LuLaRoe. I believe it's called LuLaRoe. That's a documentary over there on Netflix. I don't recall those people having to serve time. And maybe they did. Don't quote me. I'm sure it wasn't no 40 years if they did serve time. Because they had a pyramid scheme going where they were selling like different fabrics and stuff, right? And different clothing and all of that, which really wasn't even all that. I'm like, what? Y'all buying this, y'all going crazy over selling these patterns that people could get from damn Joann's or another fabric store. It was real interesting, but the white folks was going crazy over it, right? Um, they would sell these big ideas to people like, oh, you're gonna be able to make all of this money and stuff. And it really wasn't like that. Okay. Some people lost a lot of damn money, fell on hard times. There was a lot going on. I think the documentary is still on actually Amazon. Okay. All in all, they did get into some trouble with some states because pyramid schemes were not allowed to be ran in some of those states. And I do believe they had to pay money back, but I do not recall the owners, okay, the Asian owners going to jail. Y'all can fact check me down in the comments. I don't recall them going to jail, but I do believe they got into some financial trouble. And also, I think they may still be around today. Okay. And it's probably because they were like a legit business at the same time. I don't think whatever these people created over here was like a legit business. I think it was just something they created out of damn whatever and then start pulling stunts. So LaShonda and Marlon Moore, also known as DJ ASAP, operated a program called Blessings in No Time. Okay. And they really meant what they said, blessings in no time, because not one time did y'all receive the damn blessing. Okay. They go on to say that they promised participants an 800% return on a $1,400 investment. Prosecutors said the scheme relied on members recruiting new participants with money from new recruits being used to pay existing members. It was reported that Bents operated using a playing board consisting of 4 levels of participants: 8 fires, 4 winds, 2 earths, and 1 water. Child, that's crazy. Once 8 new participants were recruited to fill all 8 fire positions on the board, those in the fire position were instructed to pay at least $1,400 to the person in the water position. When the water participant received 8 payments totaling over $11,000, other members advanced on the board and were required to recruit additional participants to continue the scheme. Now, different schemes like this was happening during the pandemic. I never came across this bent one, but I did come across a different one. I forgot what it was called, and somebody was trying to get me to get involved with it. I don't think it was like 1,400. I think it was like 500. I was like, hell no. Because when I started asking more questions, it wasn't making sense on how the return was going to happen. And I'm not good at sales and stuff. So I'm not going to be sitting over here trying to sell this to somebody to buy in and convince them to give me $500 when I can't even explain how they finna get their $500. Like I said, hell no, wait, nobody got time for that. Go around now. Okay, they're saying authorities stated that the couple used live streams and social media to promote that the scheme nationwide and position themselves to receive a large share of the payments. Both were convicted of conspiracy, wire fraud, and money laundering after a federal jury found them guilty in January of 2026. Special agent and U.S. Secret Services person says the Moors took advantage of trust and hope during a time of national crisis, causing significant harm to thousands of victims. Today's sentencing sends a clear message, all right? And even with that in Texas, did you catch? The people were found guilty in January of this year. Here we are in June, and they are just now getting their sentencing. I'm a little confused when we go back to the Carmelo of it all, because all of that shit happened in one day. That's crazy. But either way, Texas is not playing. All right. You all can leave your thoughts and comments down below on that. I hate it for the children that are involved. All right. That they now got to be raised without y'all for a good significant portion of their lives. Like, that's crazy. Okay. I mean, I guess you all are a phone call away, but okay. Let's go ahead and get into Big Tigger, because Big Tigger's wife and a child's mom came out to make some allegations about him physically harming her. All right. So this is the post that was made by her on last week. She says, someone asked my husband why my face happened. Okay. And then she asks Francesca, who is now a new host working on the Big Tigger show. Now, I've been following Francesca for a few years now, and she's a news reporter. She came from like the news industry, a news reporter and stuff like that. And I was like, what? What's going on? I was like, Francesca, no. But I don't know people like that for sure. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what they got going on. But I was shocked to see that. And I was like, I'm gonna sit and just see what happens. Right? So as I'm sitting and I'm seeing what's happening, what I'm learning, okay, this woman's ex-partner, I don't know if he was her ex-husband, but I know he was a baby daddy. He came out and started saying, wow, like, y'all don't need to be taking everything that she say as a fact. Take it with a little bit of grain of salt. Take it to be alarming, okay? Because we have a child together. I ended up getting custody of that child. She ended up taking that child somewhere else. These are the allegations out there about her. He hasn't seen or heard from the child since. Like, I don't know where the hell the child is. I don't know what's going on, but he was airing her out. Okay. And there is a missing persons report for that child. Okay. So I don't know where she at, I don't know what's going on, but the baby daddy put her on blast. Okay. Now, she wants to come out and drop this statement after things started to go a bit viral, right? She says, I want to be clear. I have never called my husband an abuser. Ma'am, you did not have to call him that, but you heavily insinuated that when you said, ask my husband why my face happened. Okay. One is automatically going to assume, especially in this climate, that your husband was the one to put hands on you, ma'am. The second thought would be, or was it this person, Francesca? Did Francesca do this? Okay. And then I think she also went on to accuse him of cheating with Francesca. Okay. Just crazy. So now she's going back to say that social media has drawn its own conclusions from information that was shared, but those conclusions are not statements I have made. But they were statements that you damn insinuated, which is crazy. This is the playing in people's faces just a little bit. This is where people will then go and think about your ex person that you were with, your baby daddy or whatever, and start to question how honest of a woman are you. That's not good, ma'am. That's not good, ma'am. Okay. She says, I respect the legal process and believe law enforcement should be allowed to do its job without interference from anyone, including me. Girl, I would love to know what happened to your face, though. Who did it? Because you brought this to us. Now we want to see it through to find out what happened, who did it, how they did it. Did you trip and fall? Did somebody punch you in your eye or beat your ass, hit you with something? Like, what's going on? Okay. So that's what she put out. Let me see where the next thing is. So Tigger comes out with his statement at some point, and this is what Tigger has to say.
Extremely privileged to be here this morning, back at work. Over the past several days, there's been significant public discussion and speculation regarding my personal life.
As y'all see, this man still rocking this ring. after an insinuation has just been put out there. Child, it's messy here, honey.
I understand this can happen being a public person. I've been doing radio now 32 years and television for 29. I appreciate first and foremost the support and concern that so many people have shown. I want to say categorically, these allegations and accusations that have been circulating about me are false, untrue, not happening, didn't happen. Additionally, it's important to clarify that Francesca and I have never been anything more than friends and respected colleagues. I'd like to apologize to you, Francesca, for the impact of these last few days or this last week. I hope you accept my apology. Out of respect for everyone involved, I ask for grace, privacy, and restraint as my family navigates this difficult moment. For more than 30 years, I've had the privilege of serving this in many communities through music, entertainment, and connection. I remain grateful for the trust so many of you have placed in me throughout that journey, and I intend to continue living and leading in that manner worthy of that trust. And to all the people who have either quietly or loudly stood up and stood 10 toes for me, I appreciate it. For the people who have reached out to check on me, I appreciate you. No name dropping necessary. You know who you are. Good morning, Atlanta.
All right, y'all. So, Tigger is out there letting the people know that what y'all pushing out there, the narratives, is not true. These allegations, he's like, he ain't put his hands on nobody. He ain't cheat on nobody. And for all the people that saying that he's gay, okay, it appears he's debunking that as well. All right. I don't know what them folks got going on over there. I really don't know. But I do want to say this. If you didn't put your hands on that wife, and her first thought was to come to social media to insinuate something that she may not have a 100% fact about, if that is true, you need to rethink that marriage. I'm so sorry. Y'all feel how y'all want to feel, but you don't be coming. And I understand it's a lot of love there. Y'all got a child involved, so it's easier said than done. But don't come to social media with your eye busted up like that and then insinuate something or put my name in something, and then people start to create their narratives that I did something to you, and you didn't even come back to debunk the narratives after you put certain SHI out, and then had the audacity to add Francesca in it, as if Francesca was the one that hit you, right? So not only did you insinuate that Francesca was sleeping with your man, you insinuated that she too may have bust you in your face. Like, it's just too much. Like, girl, where? Now, if this is true, I will be completely shocked. Like, what? That's crazy. I did this to this lady, whatever. But if it's not true, yeah, let me go back and talk to this attorney and rework some things, okay? And should anything happen to me, let me make sure coins and this and that, who gets what, da 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 da, ba 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 ba, because wife is a bit sketchy. I don't care nobody feel away, and have a great day. Okay, let us get into what Francesca had to say about the matter at hand.
Has been the most challenging moment of my personal and my professional life. Throughout my 16-year career, I've worked tirelessly to build a reputation that is rooted in professionalism, integrity, and respect. And, despite these last few days, those values remain unchanged for me. I would like to reiterate that I have never, nor will I ever, have an affair with anyone in a relationship or marriage. My mother and father, who are listening right now in Ellenwood, have been married for 42 years, and I will always value such a bond. Mom and Dad, thank you for showing me that. As difficult as this experience has been on myself and my reputation, it's been difficult also on my family and my friends, my community, and those who look up to me. Just know that I feel more empowered than ever, and you know, this past week, it just reminded me that faith, resilience, and character, that's what matters most. That's the statement that I need. And that anyone who's listening to this, your worth is never defined by public opinion. I am so grateful for the incredible support of my family. Shout out to the Emmekers. Thank you for standing by me. My friends, my colleagues at V103, and everyone who stood by me and reached out online, on my phone, via text. I saw everything. And I do mean everything. This moment does not define me.
That's right.
I'm moving forward with faith, grace, gratitude even. And you know what? Even excitement for what lies ahead for me. Because as my father always says, you know, the best is yet to come. So as Tigger even mentioned, I'm just so appreciative to my community, my hometown of Atlanta, for standing up for me, sticking up for me, and standing by my side. That comment section was evil, but I kept those DMs open and received the most kindness I've ever received in my life. And I'm so thankful to those who reached out with kindness and believed me. Thank you.
I know that's right. I know that's right. I was really shocked. I was like, Francesca, like I said, I don't know what the folks be doing, but I was taken aback when I saw her put Francesca name up there. I said, girl, I don't even think Tigger her type. Like, that's crazy. But you just, I don't know. All right. But with this message and stuff that she put out there, you know, I'm willing to believe that ain't nothing going on. You know, this lady's name has stayed, you know, intact for many a years with her being and navigating this media industry. And then now here you go with this lady. Then we found out this lady got a history of being problematic or whatever the case. Tigger might have to rethink that marriage, because some about that is a little shaky. Like, if you're not getting your way or whatever the case is, you just don't come out and put these type of allegations out there if it's not true. So you got Tigger and Francesca denying messing with each other. Okay? I don't believe Francesca didn't hit this lady in her face in any type of capacity. I'm sorry. I don't believe it. Okay? Tigger put his hands on her. That's questionable too. So for me, it do seem like the wife is the problem, and they just gonna have to figure that out. Good luck. Good luck to everybody. Okay, but that's crazy there. Now you done put this insinuation out there. Now if Francesca wanted to spin the block and sue your, that would be crazy. But I'm sure she like, I'm cool with Tigger. And then not to mention, she just got over there to the damn V103. Just got over there. Just got over to V103. She can't, girl, is this a rites of passage? What's going on? That as soon as I step my foot over here into the damn V103 doors, somebody over here trying to put me in some bullshit. Girl, I ain't never had been in no bullshit. I'm a 4-time Emmy award-winning personality, journalist, whatever. Okay? I take my job very serious. And bitch, you're gonna put me in some shit. Girl, I'd be mad as hell if I was Francesca. And she probably is mad. She probably mad as fuck. Like, girl, don't play like that with me. But I'll let y'all argue in the comments. You all can leave your thoughts down below. I'm JamiThatsMe. I wanted to give y'all a little something different than what y'all been getting from your girl. All right. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hype up the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Get the money. That's why we came. Fuck the world. These niggas lame. Straight out the trench, it never change. You can't ride up in my lane. Honor my niggas whenever I speak. A hustle each day of the week. Honor my wife and my son. I can't hang with no sucker. These niggas be weak. Chasing these bras, popping your guns on the cover. These niggas be free. Talking that shit, but ain't crossing the street of my city. We said you sweet. Minding my business, I stay on my toes. I'm making my way to my goal.